Yeah,
maybe.
at least with a very strong spell vamp. That kind of kit for the two side lanes, both EXP and gold, so that you funnel everything into the Kimi as your main and only carry. But up against a Hayabusa and Farsa, that's going to be way too risky. You're going to need another carry to go along with this. The Moskov makes the most sense to me.
There you go.
As you mentioned, yeah. And the Lapu Lapu called it as well.
I don't know. I think they really kind of locked themselves in when they've already showed their mid trio. Not a lot of wiggle room to kind of adjust on the fly at this point. But at the very least, they didn't say, you know what? We want our EXP laner to be shafted. We want to play towards the goal. No, they said, with Lapu, we could contest. We could maybe disrupt that feathered airstrike, and this could create space for Sing to actually get to that Trinity fast.
Okay, so we're waiting for Wactor. Wactor's hero. So not in a lot of revitalized heroes, as you've previously mentioned. If they're looking for pick-off heroes...
I know one. Oh, Minotaur. There's still a healer. But you were saying about pickoff.
Yeah, the Cho is still there. If they want to match, they have decent burst. The Khalid! I was thinking of this earlier, but then I wasn't sure if it was doing too well in the recent matches.
Well,
Tournament hopes alive.
Let's see where this momentum is going to lean into. Who's going to tip the metronome first? CFU on the blue side facing up against BOOSTGATE Esports on the red. In terms of jungle starts, it's going to be Detective on his purple buff, but we're looking at Xe. Where is Haya on his purple as well as Wactor already getting chunked down pretty low, and that's the power of Kimi in the earlier stages.
Yeah, just when I said there won't be as much burst damage, he just stood there in the mid lane, probably tanking a lot of the basic attacks from OP. So that's quite unfortunate if you were to look at BOOSTGATE Esports. But this is looking like a Lethal Wanderer immediately going to CFU's side. And they're just going to maintain this disciplined start as we're used to seeing so far.
Moxie.
I mean, the knockup is good. Wactor, he doesn't have his flicker, but he should be able to out-sustain it for now. His identity, having to use his Purify and Wings by Wings. All defensive spells have been taken out of the hands of CFU.
Very expensive Sing.
He's okay. Luckily that quad shadow didn't connect. It was like a pixel off.
Honestly, because of that early game CFU had, I don't think there's any reason for them to hold back as much anymore. So they could just play it out as aggressively as they want, but still with a bit more caution because BOOSTGATE can turn things around.
Yeah, lots of thrills for both sides. You know how important the aggression is, while there are Master Assassins for both gold laners. And of course, as expected, it's going to be the fighter emblem set for the Claude.
Yeah, no, it just goes to show how mana hungry Sing needs to be on this Moskov to actually get good trades against the Claude. But now, going for the first contestant here on a very small objective. It looks like CFU have got the information that they need as they start moving down to hopefully unlock one. They get Xe, they punched him. Boxy underneath the Tarn, tanking too many shots. Force the flicker out as Detective slows the back line of Wactor and Kazue.
Yeah, the enhanced basic attack latched onto the Phobius. That's why he got dragged under tower.
Okay, OP's already level 4 now, so they might want to go for this.
They've caught Identity, forcing him to flicker away. His Purify's not back up as Wadu flickers forward and Detective secures the first turtle of this game. Xe, don't go back in. They're just gonna walk. They just need to walk away. Oh, he dodges back in, hoping that Wactor is gonna get back into the fight. He gets on top of OP, but doesn't hit anything. Even with the Spear of Destruction, this could be an opportunity as he gets back in. Zing! Getting a free assist. First blood going over to CFU.
Yep, there probably was a call right there. Oh, but they're still going for it. Does Xe survive this though? He's all alone.
He shouldn't survive it, but he's gonna try anyway. Detective locks him down just in time. 2-0. First 2 minutes and 50 seconds into the game.
I think that's a little bit over-eager by BOOSTGATE to take fights like that, but well, in the end, their Claude got some gold up top, but I don't think that's worth it.
Yeah, there was probably some communication between them. That Identity was there, Kazue was there, every single or almost all of their other members were there, but what they failed to take into account was the fact that they are against the Moskov, and Sing just waited for the perfect timing to go in and join that team fight which took place in the Turtle.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is the fact that Xe, he's going for that full tank build, right? He's not looking to eventually build into that War Axe. He needs to just peel for his team, and that's great for Detective specifically, because as soon as he got that Dreadnought armor, he was taking no damage.
Thinking that maybe that also could have been the bait. Could that have been part of the plan? Identity?
Oh.
He's gone.
Yikes.
Can't do anything. No Purify, but Retribution was used by Detective, though.
Yeah, but that's not gonna stop them from just constant invading. RX there. Okay, they might not go for this yet, but they're already looking to set up. And
Yeah.
it's something that you would expect from CFU, considering this lead that they already have.
I mean, we talked about it. This is the playstyle of CFU Gaming. They like to go fast. They like priority in the mid, set things up for Detective. And, of course, even back then in M6, it was Detective's Fredrin. Wait.
Purify luckily keeping him alive. RX having to use the Blazing Duet. At least Wacker is nearby just in case. And thankfully, this allows Cosway to get a buff for himself as now the turtle gets contested. They're posturing. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wacker, he's looking for an opportunity to try and steal this away, but it looks like Xe having to use his ult to get in the middle of the fight. Tsunami Slam as well into the Feather Airstrike, landing on to 3. They've lost 2, and now the Spear of Destruction. No assist just yet as Boxy forced into an awkward position. The Oki Shadow kill is good, and Wadu manages to survive. A 2-for-1 trade in favor of CFU Gaming.
Fortunately, BOOSTGATE still got something out of that because CFU Gaming and the plays that they go for prior objectives have been working so well. The fact that they took out the Purify from RX before they started that fight, and that Wadu was readily there with his bravest fighter just to ensure that the zone or the zoning or the space was created, seemed or almost felt like BOOSTGATE Esports would have had a hard time trying to contest. But fortunately, Kazue also found an opening, so it's not like they didn't entirely get nothing out of it. But this is still a gold lead that's continuously increasing in the hands of CFU.
I'm also starting to see here the potential of BOOSTGATE Esports finding a big turnaround around minute 8, minute 9.
Oh, okay. The Raging Sandstorm was committed. Now the Tsunami Slam, the Feather Airstrike does get cancelled out. They can fully turn their attentions here. The taunt onto RX, but XT able to peel just in time. The Blazing Duet was good, and Boxy ends up dying as the Oki Shadow kills next to fall. Sing alongside with Detective must peel. Abraser's Wrath doesn't connect in time. Opie finds XT as RX takes out Detective. It is an even trade, 6-3, but CFU still hold on to that lead.
Renmar was just talking about it.
Yeah.
That turnaround play came a bit too early for BOOSTGATE Esports here. Hold on, Sing.
Oh, whoa! No!
He knew he messed up.
Yeah.
He knew he messed up, and that Spirit of Destruction, really, all of it, just for hopefully connecting and making an outplay.
I have to say though, props to RX. He went in at the perfect timing. He knew that there was no knock up to come from Boxy just yet because he just used it, and he took that opportunity, and everyone else from BOOSTGATE Esports followed.
Now, we sit on this turtle once again. Xe has been great, but Wadu jumping early with Bravest Fighter, allowing Xe to get into the middle of the fight. Now with the Numenor Blood already out of the way, and the Feather Airstrike Detective takes the turtle. Purify already coming through. Boxy forced to run, flickers off. All ults being utilized. And you can see that Detective wasn't able to get in close for the Appraiser's Wrath.
Yeah, this might be a problem if you're now forced to use your skills as a Kalea to just cancel the entries of BOOSTGATE rather than you looking for the setups yourselves.
Yeah, and I appreciate how both gold leaders have been very active in the map. A map, of course, with RX rushing the DHS. It's very quick for Detective Wadu and Boxy to feel the pain that the Claude can dish out on them. Now BOOSTGATE is eyeing the tower up top.
Boxy, he needs to cancel this. No, he doesn't have enough time. It's too late. Identity takes him out with a Feather Airstrike as we already see the Pulse pulling him back. Is he gonna take it? Is he gonna take it? We're thinking about it. He does! And now Xe in the middle of the fight getting reset after reset as Identity is thinking he wants to get these contacts, but it's too late. It's already one down and Identity soon to fall after. Can RX get his PMI back up? No! Flicker into the Land Shatterer. Nicely played by Wadu.
Wadu coming in just in time.
Yeah, they held, Wadu and Detective held the BMI too well. There was no way RX could have walked back to or could have went back to that BMI, so he had no other choice but to walk. But Wadu, with the flicker still available, was able to catch him, and luckily, Identity didn't go down too. Oh wait,
They're gonna try for another dive, and it's gonna be very successful, knowing that Wacker has nothing left, and they break open a tier 1. How far? Make a prediction here, Renmar. How much of a lead are they gonna get off of this?
Oh, I think they could eventually swing this into a 4-5, closer to 5 later on, if they can keep expanding the presence that they have in the map, considering the mid tower as well. Just, you know, they're quite even looking back at it. It's still very close in terms of the mid towers. I think they're going to have to eye out getting a little bit more river control. But I like how Wadu, hopefully CFU Gaming are talking about the Lapu Lapu as, hey, we're going to blow everything early, but can you save your bravest fighter for last? Because
Yeah.
that's going to be the finisher to cap off fights.
Because they have a different approach to team fights. Luckily, they have a lot of range. They have OP with the traction pulse. They have Boxy to potentially scout things out first if ever it's not entirely going to work for them. But now that you've mentioned it, Wadu is something BOOSTGATE, or is someone BOOSTGATE Esports has to pay attention to. I know XC is doing at least or somewhat the same job, but the thing is, he's going in first, and that CFU Gaming constantly has been able to find ways around to punish.
Yeah, I mean, look at the way that they're playing, right? CFU, in every single one of these neutral fights, they take the fight first and then the neutral after.
Yeah.
They want to turn this into a no contest. Right now, they're not in position to do so. They've already cracked the top tier 1, and Detective is going to start off the taunt onto XC's side, and now they instantly cancel out the feathered airstrike as they jump back into the fight, moving away to try and make sure that the mud in the water is cleared up. Raging Sandstorm on the 3, followed by the Blazing 2-1 on the 2. Boxy is dead, and now Detective must hold. Oppie and Singh move back. A no contest, turning a 3 into 1.
The Sharks get whacked by Wactor.
And what did Wactor do? Wait a minute, that was close. I've seen way too many instances of that actually happening. Okay,
An odd occurrence.
okay.
But now, we can take a little bit of a breath, right? What
Yeah.
we thought initially was going to turn into a 3, maybe even 4.5k lead, now being swung over entirely.
Yeah, and Wactor, I think he did it twice. Him just using the quick sand guard in front of 3 members of CFU Gaming, and they're not bothered at all. They can just tank it as much as they want. He has enough ways to deal with it, not even having a Radiant armor. So even without that, they don't seem to feel the threat of OP just yet.
Yeah. You also see here the reason why Boxy's been falling down real quickly. It took him until now to get his dominance eyes. Of course, he rushes the fleeting time, but then that's not going to do well for you if your team actually doesn't get a snowball lead.
Well, I mean, they have like a 3 to 4, but now the fight continues as the Tsunami Slam has already been XC finally able to get 1 ult off, but it's not enough as the Feathered Airstrike can't peel enough. The Oki Shadow Kill will trade at least 1 back. Wadu goes down for XC.
Yeah, and I guess that's what works for them. If they find the targets first, and that's not going to be a problem even if it's XC. We talked about this earlier. If they have enough damage to deal with it, or if they have enough ways to hold him down before he gets to jump again, then that's an immediate -1 for CFU Gaming. Now it doesn't seem like they'll have much of a problem dealing with this Lord.
Yeah, I hope we get to see Identity, though. Save that Feathered Airstrike.
Just as you
Just as I say it. Or maybe he was just trying to poke back OP, but decided, you know what, not worth it. Detective might be a little bit too close. We might just get chained up here, then we'll have to force our ability. So we just back off. I'm okay with that. Swift Trinity now finally achieved here by Sig, but even before that, he was already a threat. The amount of damage that he dealt with the initial start by Boxy in that big engage before BOOSTGATE got to slightly turn it around. Well, this Moskov now needs to be watched carefully by Kazue, who has been great this game.
Yeah.
Deathless, 4-0-2.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, actually, since we're already coming to the 12th minute of the game, I'm curious about the quote-unquote scaling these teams have. Double Trinity Marksman's trying to go. Wait, hold on. Detective doesn't get it. Oh, wait, he's actually getting all right on top of XC here. It's a bit of an awkward position. Feathered Airstrike now coming up. XC can peel. He should be okay, but OP is making it hard. Flicker already out. Abraser's Wrath already gone. And back to the question, who scales better?
I have to say that CFU have really good defense, but when it comes to the late portions of the game and when they go all out at once, there's so much damage to be expected from BOOSTGATE Esports, so I might have to give it to them because you've mentioned how they haven't paid much attention to Kazue just yet, but in the few and the rare instances they actually saw, or we actually saw Kazue go in, you could expect the amount of damage, or you could see the amount of damage that's coming from him. And it's not like Identity has been landing all these feathered airstrikes on the right targets just yet. So long as they're able to accomplish that, BOOSTGATE Esports have such a high potential in the late game.
Yeah, you have 2 heroes at the side of BOOSTGATE who use HP-based damage items. The Lantern, with the DHS as well.
Okay, a bit of an early release of the traction pulse there by OPB. You can definitely see the idea, but look at the waves. The waves are not in their favor, and CFU, seeing that Moskov is on the opposite side, they're looking to get some posture, some territory here by neutral ground.
Okay.
Very close. I was hoping Wadu would hold the bush a little bit more. No one's resetting this?
I think it's going to reset
There we
no
go.
matter what, because XE's in. Raging Sandstorm. Oh, Flicker as well, with the help of RX in the backline with a feather, already with a feathered airstrike as well, as Wadu was able to take out 2 with RX in between. And now Sing, 1v3, already taking out Traction Pulse off the one's Kazaway. He goes down, and Sing has done more than enough to close out this fight.
Sting fortunately had the flicker when Wactor and RX decided to go for him. There was the Raging Sandstorm, there was the Blazing Duet, but he was able to flicker behind the wall. And now he's able to re-engage and turn things around.
And now they're trying to close out this game. Tsunami Slam already being used onto Wactor, who can't touch the wave! Not even close! Wipeout City and CFU will take game 1!